All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing great and everyone is all right. All right. Welcome to the summer session. My name is Vince Tucker. I will be your instructor for the summer and hope you're doing good. Hopefully, you were able to see or get my emails that I've sent you about 4 or 5 of them. And you'll always be able to access any class emails that I sent to you guys. They will be in your Canvas announcements. So you go into Canvas and hold on, let me make sure you guys can see my screen. Yep, we good. And then your announcements are right here. And these are all the emails that I sent to the whole class. Now, of course, personal emails will not be in here, but your class emails that I sent to the whole class will be here. So throughout the summer, if I communicate with the class, or if you haven't heard from me in a while, you want to see if I've communicated to the class, you can always go to your Canvas announcements. That's where I will archive all of our emails, our class emails. This is the only thing that we will be using Canvas for. As far as everything else, it will be in MATLAB. So your syllabus, due dates, all of your assignments, all of your tests, everything we do will be done in MATLAB. This is the only thing that we will use Canvas for. If I could have put your emails in MATLAB, then I would have put those in MATLAB. Reason being is because I'm trying to push you to MATLAB, trying to make everything that we do. I've tried to push it to MATLAB so that there's no need to go into multiple places looking for this or that or whatever the case may be. Just go to one main source. All right, so let's look at these emails. First one was just a greeting, just letting you know, greeting you and then let you know what type of class it is. It's online, asynchronous. That means we don't have any. It's completely online, and we don't have any meeting times. You just do and take care of class on your own time. All right. Then, of course, the second one was just this optional intro meeting, which, for those who are tuning in right now, you know, you got that. The third one is your required materials. So I'm not requiring that you guys purchase any type of textbook, but you do need to purchase access to MathLab. And that's what this is about. I gave you the course ID, which gives you access to my class. But as far as full access is concerned, you have to purchase the 16-digit code, the access code, which you can get it from our bookstore. Or if you want to purchase access through Pearson, you can do that as well. Now, they wouldn't give you an access code. They would just give you the access because you're already there. But if you were to purchase access from any other outside source, that's when they will give you a 16-digit code. But then also, if you're not ready to purchase at this moment, you could use a 14-day free pass in order to get full access. What it does is that for 14 days, you have full access. After the 14 days are up, they will ask you to pay. If you aren't ready to pay at that moment, they will cut your access off and you won't get access again until you pay. All of your progress will not be lost. I will be able to see your progress. You just won't be able to see it until you purchase. Okay. Questions on this email? All right. Next one is what I call MathLab specifics. In other words, how we will be using MathLab. First statement here, I do want to emphasize that MathLab does not work well with Safari. So if you have an Apple product and you're using Safari as your internet browser, MathLab does not work well with it. It does not interface well. Certain things will pop up, certain things won't. So, and sometimes you won't even know what's not popping up because you don't have anything to compare it to, right? You just use Safari. So the best thing to do is to download either Chrome or Firefox. I normally use Chrome. Chrome works fine, but either one of those, they are free. You can use for your internet browsing, and you'll have full access. Okay. Next, you cannot pass the course without access to MathLab. It's just like purchasing a book, purchasing something else that's required for your course. Our requirement here is access to MathLab. Now, you will get a copy of the e-text, your electronic copy of your textbook in MathLab once you purchase it. So you will have that. All of your assignments and tests, I already mentioned some of these things. All your assignments and tests are generated through MathLab. So there's no way for you to gain access to your assignments and tests unless you do MathLab. You must participate or show activity in MathLab weekly, not asking you to do it every day. But especially since this is an online course, you do want to get into MathLab weekly to show that you are active. If you're having any issues or concerns, anything, make sure you contact me. You don't have to give me deep, intimate details, but you do want to let me know something. Every semester, I have people that fall off the face of the earth. They just disappear. They don't email me anymore. They don't do any more assignments, and I don't have a choice but to give that person an F. So in order for me to not think that you're one of those people, make sure you communicate something to me so that we can ensure that we develop a plan, make sure you're good to go on everything moving forward, you know. All right. But when it comes to your homework, you have unlimited amount of attempts to get the best grade possible. All right. With unlimited amount of attempts, I am looking for at least a 75 when it comes to your homework. Notice 75, 84.9. I will still give you an A in my grade book. Now that's an adjustment that I have to make um, individually or manually. That's an adjustment I have to make manually that I will do at the end of the semester. So that 90% will not be reflected until when I do final grades. There's no way for me to program MATLAB to do that. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your own personal calculations. But then if you want full 100%, you want to score at least 85, and I'll give you 100%. Now that's just for your homework, just for your homework. When it comes to your test reviews, every test has a test review. You don't have to do them. They're not mandatory, but I would suggest you at least take a look at them, see what type of problems you will be dealing with on your test. But if you don't, it's fine. Or if you go into it, do a few problems and then come out of it, it may reflect, let's say, a 2025 because you only did a few problems. I will not hold that against you. So keep that in mind. But a lot of times people ask for extra credit if you want to get some. That's a way that you can. If you score 85 or better on your test review, then I'll add 5 points to that respective test. Test reviews are set up just like your homework, unlimited amount of tries. Get whatever kind of practice you want to get out of it. When it comes to your tests are what they are. So if you score 75 on your test, it's a 75. And then also you get 2 attempts on your test. Now, if you want an extra attempt, it's just a conversation. I always say if a cat walk across your computer, your keyboard and hit enter or whatever, it's just a conversation. Let me know. I can give you another attempt. It's not a big deal. It's just that without any conversation, you get 2 attempts on your test. And then this last statement is just a general statement that I give to all my classes. Normally, this class, you don't have that much scratch work, if any. Even in the textbook, they tell you to use technology. But I teach other classes like pre-calc and calculus and everything like that. So they will have scratch work. You guys probably will not. But if you do, the way you can send it to me is take a picture with your phone or scan it and just email it to me, something of that nature. All right, questions on anything from this email? All right. Next, previously recorded lectures. I just sent this email this morning if you hadn't seen this one already, and it's just recorded lectures of me talking about each one of these sections from a previous class. Look at them if you like. If not, still all good. I normally start my lectures in chapter 2. You'll see why in a second when we get into MATLAB. But chapter 1, chapter 2, they're mainly definitions. Chapter 2 has some things that I did want to point out. That's why I start there. And yeah, and go from there. But you'll see what we're doing, what we're going to do to supplement that in a second. But questions, anything? All right. Once again, those are the same lectures that you would get if you were in person with me. Same guy, same notes. Oh, let me do this before I log in. All right, so to log in, not log in, to register, you would just go here and hit student access. And go down to I'm ready to register. Then here's where you would put Tucker and whatever that number was that I gave in as your course ID to continue to register. And then from there, you put in all your personal information. You could use your school information to log in or not. It's up to you. Whatever you're doing is brand new as far as the system is concerned. Just remember, whatever you use, you got to remember it. So, if you decide to use a personal email address, then that's fine. I can look up that part, but I can't look up your password. So just make sure you hold on to whatever it is you're setting it up as. All right. Then from there, once you do that, you'll be able to log in. Mm-mm. All right, so like 17 enrolled, that's great. So you guys would only have one box, of course, and it would be this class right here. And from here, everything else that you need is in your math lab. So you have your syllabus right here. I just need to update this, this top box of information, for this class. Other than that, all the content is still the same. If you just wanted to look at the syllabus, like I said, I need to update this with our current information. Then from there, your assignments. And notice the due date is 7/31. That's the last day of class as far as SIS is concerned. So that's as much time as I could give you. And you see all of your assignments are here from, beginning to end. And I didn't mention this with the previously recorded lectures. Normally, we get to about 8.2 in the semester, unless we're doing real good and we can go past that. There's only a few more sections left. So I just left those up there if you wanted to do those as extra credit. But after 8.2, you can stop as far as your homework is concerned. And notice the test reflects that as well. It starts right here. So you see the setup, chapters 1, 2, and then test review, test, chapters 3, 4, test review, and test. I'm not going to do a midterms this summer, so it's a short session. So we're just going to do a final exam as far as your midterm final exam. We just do the final exam. And 5, 6 test, and then 7, 8, and your test 4. And you see right here, final exam review. I didn't post the final exam itself because it will be password protected. You don't get the password until we do our actual proctoring, the actual test for it. And the way we're going to do is there will be a Zoom time. I'll give you about 4 different Zoom options to choose from. And you pick one of those times, log on, and you would enable your camera, show your ID to the camera, and then I'll give you the password and you take your test. And then when you're done, you can log off of Zoom. And so that's how we do it. But I'm going to send you those, instructions as we get closer and closer to final exam time. I'll send you those instructions and everything like that. But yeah, that would be the only thing that's proctored. Everything else you do in your own time. And so notice there's only one due date. And hopefully, for those who are professional procrastinators, that won't be to your detriment. You can take your time and, knock the stuff out, wild stuff easy, flow with it, knock it out. And then if you hit a speed bump, you have time to, take your time on it. But yeah, you don't want to wait until what July 30th or July 29th to get into this stuff. So make sure you're actually knocking this stuff out as we go throughout the summer. All right. Questions? Any questions? And this just leaves room for life to happen, and you don't have to hit me up for an extension. Progressively be doing this stuff from this point over to July 31st, and you should be fine. All right. Questions? Everybody good? Everybody straight? All right. So the only thing that you're going to have a due date on that's going to be different than that July 31st date are these definitions right here. So it's chapter 1. And so instead of me lecturing about chapter 1's definitions, this is, going to take the place of that. It'll help set your foundation for your moving forward. So we're only going to do this for chapter 1 and chapter 2. So you see chapter 2 is shorter, but I just went ahead and did lectures on chapter 2 just because there's a little confusion, especially when you talk about the difference between nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio, stuff like that. So I just went ahead and did a little lecture on chapter 2. But chapter 1, those are pretty much more straightforward. And these definitions are not, they were not made to be a scavenger hunt. They're pretty much straightforward and they're in order. So let me show you this. Let me see. Do I already have it pulled up? No, I don't. So right here, StatCrunch, that's Pearson's version of Excel. So you can learn how to use it or not. It's up to you. But if you want to just use Excel, that's fine. Or if you want to use an online source, that's fine as well. Just remember that whatever you use, you want it to be reliable and available because this is what you will be using on your final exam. And reliability will be tested throughout your homeworks, right? Make sure you get the right answer. All right, so right here's your e-text. Oh, I meant to do this. Let me go back, but I'll just go ahead and open it up. You can open it up right here. While that's opening, I want to show you this. Go back to this. So notice when you look at your definitions, the first one is what are 2 definitions of statistics? Population parameters, sample, raw data, sample statistics, and so on. Only reason I show you that, showing you the order, because when you go to your e-text, open the book. Right, didn't want it to go all the way down there. Should probably just put it on page 2. Page 2 is where it gets started. So notice the first one, I said, what are the 2 definitions of statistics? There you go, right there, 2 definitions of statistics. And then the next one was population. Oh, so there go population parameters, and then sample, raw data, sample statistics. So you see they're in order. All your definitions are either highlighted, bolded, or some kind of box or something like that. So once again, it wasn't made to be a scavenger hunt, but it's just an exercise to make sure you guys are more familiar with these terms as you move forward in the course. And so this will be due June 2nd. I'm going to send you an email to remind you of this, but June 2nd is when I will be looking for these definitions. You don't have to wait till June 2nd to send it to me, of course, but you do want to get them to me as soon as possible. Go ahead and get it out the way and then continue to move on. And these definitions, of course, will help you with your homeworks in MATLAB as well, because you still have homework in chapter 1 and chapter 2. And yeah, and some of these questions that are asked are just these definitions as well. So June 2nd is when I'll be looking for these. You can email them to me if you want to, through Word doc. If you want to save it as Word doc, if you want to write them down in your notebook, then scan it, or take a picture with your phone, shoot them to me. Whatever way you want to send them to me is fine. There's no real format that I'm saying you have to stick to, as long as you do them and then you get them to me. All right. Questions on that? Right. So with that being said, let's look at your assignments real quick. Just do an example of that. And if y'all don't have anything else, then I'm good. Let's go. Let's say 3.2. All right. So here's just an example of one of your assignments. Down here are your help tools. Help me solve this. Normally people don't click on help me solve this because it helps you to solve it. And it would mark the problem wrong because it just walked you through it. But you'll be able to reset it and get full credit if you do it correctly. So that normally people don't hit help me solve this. Most people hit view an example. What it does is open a window where you can view an example of the same problem with just different numbers. Some people even like to print it, and then you can close it out and get back to the problem you were dealing with. More help, sometimes there's a video. Video will have a Pearson instructor talking about the problem. Textbook means it would send you to the textbook where this problem is discussed. We already talked about StatCrunch. That's a version of Excel. Tech help is just there's Pearson's tech support, and then ask my instructor. You would send me an email telling me you had a problem with this problem. Now, if you send me that email and I see it, I'm going to email you back and say, okay, how do you want to, deal with this problem? Do you want me to continue to help you through email? Are you asking for a Zoom session? Do you want to make a video? And so, yeah, I would, need you to email me back on how you want me to address the issue. Because it'll make sense for me to make a video and you say, no, I want to meet with you. Or I want to talk to you. It's a waste of time. So make sure you look for that email if I do email you. And then if by some chance I miss your email, just email me again. I don't set up these touch points for you guys to email me and then I ignore it. So it's not on purpose if I do miss it, but I do get a lot of emails. So just, bear with me if I were to miss your email. Just, shoot me an email to remind me and we'll make sure you're good. All right. So if you click on this check, they try to give you a hint. Depending on the complexity of the problem, it may give you more of a hint. If there's more to say, of course, right? And I'm just walking through it. Final check. They gave you 3 chances, and they tell you what the right answer is. Then you continue. This is one that had more than one answer. Let's see. Okay. All right. So notice if you get some of it right, some of it wrong, you get a red X/green check. If you go to your problem list, same thing. Now, if you get it all wrong, you get a red X. If you get it all right, you get a green check. And if you want to do the problem over, you just hit similar question right here. And then if you do the problem over and get it all right, then it'll replace that with a green check. Right. And that's the gist of it. And once again, you'll always be able to reset the problem and do it over if you want to get more practice. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. I think that is it. That is all I have for you guys today. I will be posting office hours as well if you want to take advantage of those. But if those don't fit your schedule, you can always email me. We can set up something, as an individual. But that's all I have. Any questions, concerns, comments before we close out today? Good, everybody straight. All right, that's awesome. So you can always contact me through Canvas, or you can email me at vtucker@tcc.edu. It all goes to the same email. Once again, that's vtucker@tcc.edu, or just communicate to me through Canvas, and I'll be responding back shortly. Other than that, let's have a great summer session, and I'll talk to you soon. You guys have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a good one.